This is a demo of PremiSys version 2.1 and integration with Exact Technologies' Exact-Vision video server. I'm going to show you monitor and control in the different areas that we've added the ability to display live video and display recorded video for transactions. Up here in the hardware tree, I've got this devices column in my doors folder that has a camera icon next to the doors that have cameras associated with them. If I click in that column, I get a drop-down box that will show me all of the cameras associated with this particular point. If I click on one of those cameras, it will display the live video from that specific camera. It'll give me the camera name, the date, and the time. And down here in the bottom, it'll tell me that I'm displaying live video, and it will tell me which particular door this camera is linked to. Also in the bottom right-hand corner here, I have a little lock, and this lock indicates that this window will always be on top. If I want it to go behind, or if I actually want to be able to move this video window to a second monitor, I just uncheck this lock, and now I can move it outside of the PremiSys container. If I right-click in the video window, I can go to this replay option that I can choose replay the last 5 seconds, 30 seconds, 1 minute, 5 minutes, or 15 minutes of video from this particular camera. If it's a PTZ camera, I'll have this presets option, and I can actually select on a different preset to have this camera swing to that preset. If you want to display all cameras from a specific point, maybe there was an incident or you have something going on, so you want to quickly see all the different angles from that area, you can right-click on your door and go to display all cameras, and it will open up video from these different cameras. Now this particular camera, I don't have video. In fact, it tells me I've got video signal loss. Another way that you can tell that your camera is offline is over here in the map. I've got this little yellow dot in the bottom right-hand corner as opposed to the green dot on this one, and that tells me that this camera is offline. Another easy way to see all the cameras or all the devices that are offline is down here in the bottom right-hand corner of the window. We have this little red flag, and if you click on that, it'll bring up this window that will list any camera that's currently offline. That's important to know because you need to know what cameras you're not going to get recorded video from or live video from in the event of an incident. Down here in the transaction window, I've got the same devices column, and if I click on this column, it again will list any cameras that I have associated with this particular point that caused this transaction. If I click on one of those cameras, it will bring up the recorded video from that specific transaction. I've got my standard controls down here to play my video, so I can rewind it, fast forward it, pause it. You can also right-click in the video window, and if you wanted to create a video clip and export it, you can mark your stop and your stop, your start and your stop, and then choose to export the video. You can also just save a single frame as an image. You can copy an image to the clipboard, and you can also print an image right from this window. In the alarm acknowledgement window, again, same drop-down box, same camera options for this point. I can click on one of them again, and it will show me the recorded video for that transaction. If I double-click on it, it will open up this alarm acknowledgement window that now contains video on the bottom here. On the left-hand side, we have recorded video for this specific transaction. On the right-hand side, we actually have live video from that camera, the current live video. So you can see what happened, you can see currently what's going on in that area. If you have multiple cameras associated with this point, again, you can select a different camera and it will show you the recorded video, if any, and the live video from that camera during this time period as well. The rest of the window is the same, so you still have the ability to display your instructions and show your acknowledgement and your clearing alarm history. Over here on the map on the right, if I want to display live video from one of these cameras, I simply click on it, and it will bring up live video from that camera. We also added a report under the transactions that now includes transaction history with device links. So when you run this report, after you set up your search criteria, it will list all of the transactions that have devices associated with them. So if you click on this link, it will display the associated video with that specific transaction. Now, it is possible to have video stored and recalled in this history transaction that you didn't set up triggers and procedures for. And the reason you can do that is on the exact side, if you set up your cameras to always record, you may have video there for these transactions if it hasn't been overwritten or erased on the exact side. So we're just going to go over to the exact server and we're going to look for video from this particular camera during this particular time period. And if it's there, we'll display it. If you want to be certain that you have a video clip there, then you actually need to set up a trigger and procedure and an action to create a video clip. And I'll show that to you in just a moment. But this is an easy way to look for an event. Say something happened over the weekend, it's already cleared off the transaction window, you didn't have an alarm acknowledgement set up, you can come in here, run a history report, and very quickly see if you have video associated with that transaction without having to run the transaction report on our side and then going to the exact server to look up the video. In hardware configuration, under the Devices tab, you'll see I now have exact video server listed here, and I also have an SMTP mail server listed here. The SMTP mail server is just the configuration settings for your SMTP mail server. And you have to know what those settings are. Once you've configured it, you can go into your triggers and procedures, and under your actions, you'll now have the ability to set up an email as your action type. We also have this exact video server, and once that plugin is installed by going onto the software installation CD and running setup from the exact folder under plugins, it will show here, and then you have to go through the licensing process to actually license the number of servers that you want to connect to. Once that's done, you simply right-click on the video servers folder, click on Add Exact Video Server, and this window will be displayed. You punch in your IP address or your host name, your port. Your username and password is what you configured on the exact side so that we can log into the server. Once that's done, we will actually import the cameras automatically so that you don't have to reconfigure those on the PremiSys side. So we have 4 cameras on this particular server. You'll notice this camera is offline. These 3 are online. If I bring up one of those cameras, it will display the live video in this area here so that you can see that it's working. You can also configure your pre- and post-alarm video so that when an event happens and you create a video clip, this is telling it how much time you want to grab before the alarm and how much time you want to grab after the alarm. This PTZ checkbox is grayed out, but it's checked. That's because this is a PTZ camera. If it were not a PTZ camera, that checkbox would be unchecked, and that's just showing you that that particular camera is PTZ. Under the Devices link folder, this is where you associate a camera with a point or multiple points. So this window will display all the points that you have in your system, so control points, doors, and monitor points. We've got a search box up here so that if you have hundreds of points in here, you can very quickly find the point that you want just by typing in the search box. So if I want the west door, there it is. I've got my checkbox checked already to link it. I also have this one set as a primary, and what that's going to do is it's going to tell the system that when I open up my alarm acknowledgement window, this is the camera I want it to get the recorded video and the live video from by default. You have that drop-down box in that window that you can select a different camera, but by default, this is the camera I want displayed. If we go into the globals and go to triggers and procedures, if we just look at the actions here real quick, and under my action type drop-down box, I now have display live video, display video clip, create video clip, go to preset, and display live video and create video clip. So most people will probably use this one if they wanted to display the live video and also create that video clip. This is just one action that allows you to do both of those. The presets, those are actually presets that are configured on the exact side. So if I pick a PTZ camera here, I have my 8 presets that are configured on the exact side that I can choose from here. And now when that trigger happens, my action will be to send that camera to a preset. For the email, if I say send SMTP mail here for my action type, it's going to give me this window where I just put my email address in. I can put my from in so that it knows, so that you know that it's coming from the PremiSys system. Because you can't respond back to PremiSys, you can put a reply to address in here. So if you want them to reply to a supervisor or something, you can do that. And then you simply put in your subject and your body. There's also placeholders in here. So as part of your email message, you wanted to put in specific information about the transaction date and time, or what point we're talking about here, or what the action was. You simply just select those as you're creating your email, and it will plug that variable data in when it goes to send the email out. I've gone through this very quickly. If you have any questions on this, feel free to contact your Access Regional Manager, and we'll see if we can't get those questions answered for you. Thank you and have a great day.